Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World. The year is 2019, and someone is waiting for the previews to start in a movie theater.
Hey, you want anything? Popcorn? Soda? No, nothing?
This has been The Sounds of the Old World. Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
And now, time for some Saturday information on the college football portfolio from OffshoreInsiders.com. Joe Duffy's picks. These records are entering the Friday night action. 39-19 in football, 9-3 in college football. 9 winners on Saturday. 9 winners on Saturday, folks, all in college football, led by a wise guy play. And it's at OffshoreInsiders.com from America's only Grandmaster handicapper, Joe Duffy. Utah State versus San Jose State. Utah State already playing their third road game of the year. Road teams playing their third road game in the fourth game of the year are actually 232 and 198 against the spread, although just 105 and 307 straight up. Now, San Jose State's only win was to Cal Poly, and the other 3 games were losses by an average of 38 points per game, giving up 476.2 yards per game. Now, home teams, off of consecutive losses of at least 38 points and playing in a winnable game, that is, not getting a field goal or more, are 17 and 9 against the spread. That particular football betting formula would say to bet on San Jose State. Now, Utah State, though, has won 6 in a row straight up in the series, including all 3 in San Jose. Big line moves in the Spartans' direction as Utah State quarterback Kent Myers is very questionable, but make sure you check those thoroughly vetted sportsbooks listed on OffshoreInsiders.com, and you're on the right side of this line move. San Jose State has already lost their leading rusher from last year for the season, though he missed the previous 2 games as well. Mississippi State and Georgia. Mississippi State 3-0 by a nation's best 30.2 points per game. That's 3-0 ATS, the best spread margin in the country by 30.2 points per game. Underdogs with a 28 or better against the spread margin, though, are just 5 and 11. So that would say the Georgia Bulldogs would be the team to bet on that. History says, but again, only 16 games that history says this is a game that Mississippi State will likely come back down to earth. Michigan at Purdue. Purdue is 3-0 by an average of 25.5 points per game against the spread margin. Home underdogs with a 25 or better ATS spread margin, just 9-16. That would say to bet on Michigan. 3-11 getting a touchdown or more, and 1-8 getting double digits. Average line is 16.5, and the average of margin, they lose by 28.4. Though, also Auburn and Missouri. Missouri 0-3 against the spread by 22 points per game. That is the spread margin. Auburn under all 3 by 21 points per game. Second among teams with at least 3 games. Teams playing game 4 or later with a total of 49 or more and an over-under margin of minus 20 or less, that is, they've gone under by an average of 20 points per game, have gone over then at 10-4-1 in the subsequent game. So that would apply to Auburn, and of course that would apply to this game over. Louisiana Monroe and Louisiana Lafayette from OffshoreInsiders.com. UL Lafayette, the top over team in the country, going over 3-0 by 32.7 points per game. New Mexico and Tulsa. Tulsa, the number 2 over team in the country, going over all 3 by 30.7 points per game. USC and California. USC missed covering by 14 their last game, winning in double overtime, laying 17, I should say. We had the under 66, and only 34 scored in regulation, so he sweated out. After Stanford and a double overtime game, they hit the road for back-to-back games, so this could be a little bit of a letdown for USC, because as we said, double overtime game where they had a little bit of letdown last week, and they played Stanford 2 weeks ago. First 2 road games of the season, and maybe a look ahead to number 18 Washington State. Road favorites of 14 or more and facing an opponent ranked 18th or better in their next game as a potential look ahead are actually 75-43 against the spread, and 25-10 if the next game is also on the road at 71.4%. So apparently teams do not get caught in sandwich and look-ahead situations. At least that angle says they don't. USC 10-1 against the spread in the series. Cal outscores teams in the second half 57-13. Undefeated teams with at least 3 wins and a home dog of more than 14 or 10-4 against the spread, though just 1-13 straight up. And so USC should win, but Cal covers, says the angle. Cal is a new coach in Justin Wilcox, so maybe that's one of the reasons they are undefeated, as the dog has covered all 3 of Cal's games by 13 or more. Or I should say it's one of the reasons that Cal is doing better, is the dog has covered all 3 of Cal's games by 13 or more. Western Kentucky and Ball State. Western Kentucky's gone under all 3 by an average of 20.3 points per game. Teams playing game number 4 later with a total 49 or more and an over-under margin of 20 or less have gone over 10-4. That would apply to Western Kentucky, and of course that would say that this game should go over. Duke and North Carolina. Duke averages 97 snaps per game, second in the country. Syracuse and LSU. LSU leading rusher Darius Geis is out. Led the conference in rushing last year. Darrell Williams gets the start. He had 159 yards on 28 carries. For a free pick, by the way, we'll go with Syracuse. Syracuse is LSU in a tough spot after getting blown out last year and their leading rusher being out. UMass and Tennessee. Tennessee off an excruciating loss to Florida. And, of course, they have UGA next week. So a very possible sandwich situation against a non-conference opponent. UT linebacker Cortez McDowell is out. He started all 15 games the last 2 years. Texas Tech and Houston. Houston wide receiver Derek King is expected to make his 2017 debut. 20 catches in 10 games last year. Is expected to be a significant contributor this year. Oklahoma and Baylor. 3 key projected starters expect to make their debut for Baylor. Running back Terrence Williams. Safety Tayon Sells. Cornerback Graylin Arnold. Williams had a team leading 1,048 yards rushing last year with 11 touchdowns. He averaged 241 yards rushing. The team did. The team, Baylor, averaged 241.8 rushing yards per game last year with him, now at 150. Arnold started 4 games last year and was a projected starter this year. Sells started 4 games in 2015 but missed last year because of an injury. He was a projected starter. Penn State at Iowa. Iowa running back Akram Wadley is out. Graduate transfer Troyce rushed for 1,000 yards at Nevada. He's second on the team in rushing this year, 36 carries for 158 yards. Oregon at Arizona State. Oregon leading receiver Charles Nelson No Riley is questionable. 15 catches for 243 yards, also a rushing touchdown. Florida and Kentucky. All 9 Florida players expected to remain suspended, led, of course, by Antonio Callaway, their best weapon. He had 89 receptions in his first 2 college football years. UF a possible letdown off of that dramatic last second win over Tennessee. Florida's won 30 straight up in the series. Biggest consensus plays for today, or in the minds of some, contrarian, where you can bet at the approved sportsbooks at offshoreinsiders.com. West Virginia, arguably the strongest consensus play of the season. Oklahoma, clearly number 2 this week. Then after that, other consensus plays, public consensus plays at Sportsbooks in Las Vegas, Offshore, and Outlaw. Indiana, Georgia Tech, and SMU. All the best picks, including the Master Lock Line, the power of 620 sports services behind each and every play. It is at offshoreinsiders.com.
Make room for a brand new year and a brand new room. Cozy up with HomeDepot.com for up to 30% off select mattresses and mattress essentials. From pillow top to plush, medium firm to memory foam. Waking up to a wonderful new mattress is the perfect way to make your new bed and your new year. Up to 30% off select mattresses and mattress essentials from HomeDepot.com. How doers get more done. Online only. Free delivery on select items $45 or more. Visit HomeDepot.com for more information.